Oh, hi there, everybody. How are you doing today? I'm doing splendid. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Here's why, okay? So, we all know this time of year, right? It's getting close to the last Thursday of November, which, of course, is Shanksgiving, the best holiday in the entire year, only possibly eclipsed by Mihawk Day, which is, of course, what we celebrate on October 14th. But Shanksgiving is definitely up there, too. I've been doing Shanksgiving on this channel for, I think this will be the third year I've been doing it, third or fourth year I've been doing it. But the most hilarious thing is apparently Eiichiro Oda also celebrates Shanksgiving because we have the reveal of a brand new One Piece movie. Well, we don't have the reveal of it, like, it's not out yet, and all we got is really the title of it and, like, the date it's supposed to be released and, you know, the name of the director, so I guess we got a little stuff about it, but that's not the point. The point is, the name of the movie is One Piece Film Red! Yeah, you know what? I'm actually really happy because I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do the whole room bathed in blood red until next Halloween. But here we are! Alright. Plus, I'm wearing flannel, which I guess I should maybe cover up my shirt because, yes, everything must be bathed in the color of blood for this video, alright? Man, this movie, guys, get ready for it. It's going to be insane. You know, it's One Piece Film Red. I mean, this is going to be the seinen One Piece movie, right? We had 14 One Piece movies up until this one, and out of all of them, they were all pretty happy, and like the third movie was Chopper's Magical Island Adventure. We had like 2 movies focused on Chopper, and they were so adorbs. Oh, that's awesome. And then we had the 7th movie with, you know, Nami and Robin's gynaxing boobs all over the place, right? And then we had the 6th movie, which was... Yeah, okay, the 6th movie was pretty dark. In fact, I really need to still talk about that. But, you know, we had all these movies up until now, and the last few were really cool. But no, movie 15 is where the kids' gloves come off, and there's blood and gore throughout the entire damn Piece movie Red. Alright, actually, there might very well be, because one of the hints that we got involving the movie was actually in the logo of the movie, One Piece Film Red. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear the words One Piece and Red, I immediately think, of course, of Red Hair Shanks, you know, because red hair pirates. He doesn't really do that much in the story. He's only showed up like a handful of times, but, you know, he's a very iconic character and pirate in the One Piece world. He's one of the Yonko, absolutely, okay? Not only that, but in the logo, Oda also drew the scars over the word red, so to indicate that, yeah, I'm thinking here, Shanks might have a prominent role in this feature-length picture. First things first, I should just say this. We don't know anything about the plot, but if your goal was to drum up hype for a One Piece movie, you can't really do much better than this, right? The whole point of One Piece Stampede, the last one, the hype they kind of built up for that was it was going to be things relating to Roger and the One Piece treasure, and yeah, it kind of was. Like, if nothing else, we learned in that movie, before in the manga, the way that Laugh-Tale was actually supposed to be pronounced and spelled. It wasn't Raftel, it was Laugh-Tale. And, you know, a couple of months after Stampede came out, you know, Oda just revealed that in Odin's backstory in the manga anyway. But that was sort of like the excitement for the movie. Like, oh man, you gotta go watch Stampede because we're gonna be referencing things about the One Piece treasure, and there's Douglas Bullet, who's the demon heir to Roger's crew. There's gonna be a lot of crazy stuff related to that. And Stampede was, I mean, you know, it was a movie. You know, I think Douglas was a pretty weak antagonist that fell into the same basic role of like, I'm a big tough guy. I don't need anybody to help me. I'll just fight everyone and be the strongest, because I'm tough. You know, that was basically Douglas Bullett's character, so that was unfortunate. But, you know, it was cool to see, like, Roger's little scene at the end, and we did find out about Laugh-Tale, and then Buggy was there. And so, it was an alright movie, just to kind of celebrate everything about One Piece in the last 20 years. That's kind of what Stampede was about, okay? But I'll tell you, just in terms of just the logo and assumingly the premise relating to Shanks, I have more hype for this movie than I did for Stampede, or Film Gold, or Film Z, or Strong World. You know, like, this might actually be the one. In just terms of the hype train alone, I'm all aboard, and I feel like you guys should be too. Now, this could... The thing is, we have disappointingly little Shanks in this story. Like, we seriously do. Here's the thing. We've never seen Shanks fight. No, we really haven't. Well, I mean, I guess we kind of did during Roger's backstory, you know, where like Odin's backstory, where we see Shanks and Buggy, but even then, I think it was only off to the side we saw them fight. We have never seen Shanks in the present story. Not even the present story. We haven't seen him even during the flashback with Luffy and Higama at Fuchsia Village. We didn't even see him lift a finger there. You know, it was Lucky Roo that shot the bandit, okay? All Shanks really did was dive in the water and get his arm bit off. That's pretty much all. I guess he stared at, he glared at the Sea King to get it to go away. And then when he was up against Whitebeard, he didn't really fight. We didn't see anything. We saw Shanks take out his sword and clash with Whitebeard. We got the skies renting asunder, and then that was it. So I don't really count that as a fight. Same basic thing at Marineford, too. All he did was take out his sword and block Akainu, and then that was it. I mean, do you really consider that a fight? Like, when one person takes their sword and another person takes their sword and just, you know, they clash, and then after that, the fight just kind of, like, there is no fight. There's just, like, that's it. So we really haven't seen Shanks get into a serious balls-out fight in this story. Occasionally, he'll show up in the story, but even then, we don't get him that often, okay? So, with that being said, you could look at this in a way it's like, all right, there are probably so many stories, so many adventures that Shanks has had in his past that we have not even come close to touching upon in the canon of the manga. This is the movie to give us the opportunity for Oda to showcase that. Oda, as with most movies, he's not the director or like writing the script or anything. He's the producer, which he's not always the producer. Typically, Oda's credit, usually at bare minimum, is he'll be like the supervisor, or he'll at the very least like draw the character designs for said movie. He'll do that. But in this movie, no, he's expressly listed as a producer as well as a supervisor. Okay, and remember, producers kind of like start the project. They're also sort of in charge of like hiring the people and the writers and stuff. So, you know, Oda does have influence here, right? It's just he's not going to be the one writing it or anything like that. So I have an idea. I have a theory, okay, on what this movie could be. And this is just like my first, you know, I read it this morning. Like, I actually saw it in a post from, I woke up and I saw Grand Line Liam. I saw him post about it. Like, there's a new One Piece movie. And I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome, okay? So, this was my first thought that I had. I have no idea if this is actually going to be what happens, so I don't want to get everybody excited, and it turns out like, oh, wow, that could be such a cool idea, and they go a completely different direction with it. But here's the idea, okay? One Piece is Luffy's journey, all right? Not Shanks' journey, not Blackbeard's, not any of the other Yonko, not Kaido, not Big Mom. It's not about Rayleigh. It's not about Roger. This manga is about Luffy and the Straw Hats and their journey. Now, with that in mind, unless Oda was planning some sort of prequel story or some other kind of, you know, medium, you know, like light novels or something that was going to focus on other characters, we're really probably not going to see the whole backstory of Shanks. I think throughout the manga, you know, when we get to the final sagas and everything like that, we'll eventually see, you know, I hope at least Shanks' fight with Mihawk or whatever, but then I started to think, well, maybe we might not. Maybe we might see glimpses of it or references to it, but we might not actually get a full-scale flashback focused on Shanks. Maybe that's just not the direction Oda wants to go, or they just don't have enough time for it, or he wants to focus on the Straw Hats going to Laugh Tale. And so, for that reason, that's why we have a movie coming out that's going to be focused on Shanks. So, I will say this. The most ideal scenario we could get with this would be a full-length motion picture where Shanks is the main character. We see his past. It could maybe start off right at Roger's execution when Shanks and Buggy were in the crowd. The movie could start off with Buggy and Shanks arguing after Roger was executed. You know, like Shanks being like, hey, Buggy, come join my crew. Come on, Buggy, let's do this together. And, you know, it's like what the captain would have wanted. We can go to Laugh Tale. We can find it just like he did. You know, we said we were going to do this together. And Buggy would be like, screw you, you stupid red hair. I don't even like you. I'm out of here. I'm going to start my own pirate crew. And then Buggy and Shanks both depart Logtown. And there could be a moment where Shanks is like, sailing away from Logtown. He just sees it in the distance, and he's just like, okay, Buggy. Okay, Captain. I'll go out to sea, and I'll start my own crew. And it could be a really cool moment. Remember when Roger was executed, it was like a stormy day. It was like sunny at first, but then there was like rain that just came out of nowhere when Roger was executed. So maybe you can have a scene where, Shanks is sailing away from Logtown, and it's just bathed in clouds and rain and thunder. And then he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start my own adventure, just like you, Roger, just like you, Captain. And then he just turns to the other side, and you see the lights, on the horizon, like the clouds are parting, and then Shanks just sails off, and then boom! Opening title, One Piece Film Red! Da 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 da! And then we see Shanks traveling the East Blue, meeting Yasopp. I guess, like all of the top members of the Red Hair crew are from different oceans. Lucky Roo is from the south, Ben Beckman is from the north, so you could have scenes where they travel, and Shanks himself is from the west, so you could have scenes where he's traveling to all the different blues and recruiting Yasopp, Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, and then you could have like a certain moment where they find their ship, they get their ship, the Red Force. Like, how do they do that? And then they start building their crew even more, and just these really cool fights. You could have the moment where Shanks first meets Mihawk and they have their first duel. You could have where Shanks got Griffin, like that all that stuff could fit in this movie, right? At first, I was thinking there's no way Oda would do that, because that's expanding upon stuff that he wants to do in the main manga. But then I'm like, well, would he want to do this in the main manga? Like, because Shanks is incredible. Shanks is amazing. Let me tell you, there could be an entire story arc of One Piece. It could be as long as Wano. It could be 100 chapters long that focused entirely on Shanks and his story and his past and his adventures and his fights. And I don't think a single One Piece fan would complain about that, right? Like, if that were to happen, would you not be cool with it? Maybe not 100 chapters, but, a decent-sized story arc all about Shanks. Right? I think everybody would just be like, yeah, let's do that, So maybe Oda was like, yeah, I have enough ideas for that. I could do that, but I can't. Like, I just can't fit it in my manga. I need to focus on the Straw Hats. I can't take a big chunk, like years out of this story to focus on Shanks. So it's like, you know what? Let's just make a movie about him, and I'll just showcase all that stuff there. And remember, it's a movie. So you can't showcase everything the same way as you could in a manga arc that lasts like, 50, 60, 70 chapters, but you could set a lot of stuff up. We could get a glimpse into Shanks' backstory. We could see what it was like for him, traveling the seas and everything. The one thing I would say, that the only thing you would have to probably keep on the down low or, glance over in the movie itself is the origin of how Shanks got his scar. A little ironic, considering the logo of the movie is One Piece Film Red, because this is, like, related to Blackbeard, and so we don't know the whole story behind that. Although, then again, I mean, like I said, we're moving into the final saga. This movie is supposed to come out August 6th of next year. August 6th, 2022, okay? I feel like by that time next year, we're going to be done with Wano, right? We're going to be moving into the final saga. So maybe this movie could actually serve as the bridge of like, okay, Wano has concluded, Luffy and the Straw Hats are now going to begin their final journey to Laugh Tale Island to find the One Piece. We will now have a movie focused around Shanks as the main character of this, where we get to see exactly how he got that damn scar. What did his battle with Blackbeard look like? It could also be touched upon in the manga, but that way it would be like, oh, all right, so here's the whole... Wait... Yeah, there we go. It's like, okay, here's the whole scene of how he got the scar in the movie, so we can actually see it animated and really cool, like him fighting Blackbeard or whatever, like how exactly he got it. And then it could be mentioned later in the manga, and there could just be like a little panel, and it like references the movie. Like, go watch the movie for the same encounter there. And then also, I mean, you could have a prequel story of One Piece, or, because the anime is not going to finish. Like, even after Oda finishes the manga and it's done, obviously the anime is just not going to stop. There's going to be a continuation. They might go in the past and we might see Roger. We might go into the future and see Luffy's son, Boofy, of course. Are you ready to see Boofy in action? Buffy? Boofy? Huh. guess spelled the same, whatever. Buffy in action? Yeah, let's see that, right? Okay. So, yeah, we're probably going to do that at some point anyway, but might as well just get it done now while we're in the middle of the story, right? Absolutely. So, I think that's the best case scenario, what we could get from this movie. I really don't even think the Straw Hats would have to be in it, and that's the one thing that's a problem, is like, okay, it's a One Piece movie, though, so the Straw Hats kind of have to be in it, right? I mean, like, it's Shanks. He's a big, big deal, all right? I don't think, like, maybe we could have, like, at the very end, like, we have a whole movie focused on Shanks, and at the very end, that's when we see him giving the hat to Luffy. And then after that, it flash forwards to the main story right now, where we have Shanks reading the paper when he sees Luffy's new bounty, like the 1.5 billion, and he sees pictures of him and all the Straw Hats, like, hanging out. And you could have a moment where Shanks is just reading the paper, and he's just like, yeah, Luffy, I think you're going to be the one to do it. You'll become a great pirate. You already are a great pirate. You'll find the One Piece. You'll live up to Roger's dream. You'll surpass Roger. And then maybe that's it. Maybe like the end credits will be like that, like the end of scene or something like that. I mean, you could do something like that, right? But I would be okay if the Straw Hats weren't in this. If it was just a focus point on Shanks's life and his past, that'd be great. But that idea, I feel like we're not going to get. I feel like we're not going to get that because I feel like it's a One Piece movie, and also there were some promotional images of this as well that were like building up to this, and we see scenes of the different Straw Hats with their names like like they're all grayed out except for the letters, and they were like red, so indicating movie Red is coming, right? So I feel like, yeah, the Straw Hats are going to be in this, and it's like, okay, so you're going to have a movie called One Piece Film Red that probably takes place in present day because the Straw Hats have to be in it, but Shanks is also going to be in it. How could you do it then? It's like, okay, well, if we're not going to really explore, I mean, we might still have backstories and like little flashbacks to Shanks, but if that's not going to be the whole focus of the movie, remember that Davy backfight idea that a lot of people had? The idea that like at the end of the story, after Luffy defeats Big Mom, Kaido, and then eventually Blackbeard, Luffy's going to go up against Shanks, but they're not going to like fight to the death because that's not what they're about. You know, they're friends. So what if they just have a Davy back? Maybe that's what this movie could be about, except it's not a Davy back like the goofy kind of Davy backs that Foxy and his crew did. It's like a serious, you know, kind of competition there between the Straw Hats and the Red Hair Pirates. But then again, that might be taking stuff away from the manga, because I would like to see that in the manga, like, you know, like Usopp and Yasopp. That's a question right there, like, in this movie, if the Straw Hats are going to be in this movie in present day, and Shanks is also going to be one of the main characters in this movie, if that's going to be the focus, is Usopp going to meet his dad? Is Usopp going to meet Yasopp? Because I feel like if the Straw Hats run into the Red Hair Pirates and that's the focus of the movie, it's present day, like, there's no way you could accurately explain why Usopp would not be reunited with his dad. And that's something I feel like it should be kept for the manga. Then again, maybe the promotional images were just that. Maybe they were promotional images. Maybe it's just to drum up hype for the movie. It doesn't actually mean the Straw Hats are going to be in it or anything. Maybe. Or they're just in it like a brief moments, like maybe at the very beginning and the very end, it's like whatever. They're the ones that show up after the ending credits, and they're like, all right, everybody, hope you enjoyed the movie. Throw away your popcorn and your junk and everything in the receptacle bins on the way out. Don't litter. Have a nice drive home. And that's the Straw Hats place in the movie, right? Oh, man. There's so many opportunities with this. You know what? Remember a couple years ago when the OVA came out, episode of Sabo, that was it, the episode of Sabo OVA. I got so excited when that was announced, and I was like, oh man, are we gonna see like Sabo's backstory, like really delve into his training, you know, with the Revolutionary Army? Or are we gonna find out some more stuff about the Revolutionary Army? And it's like, nah, not really. It's basically just gonna be a retelling, like an abridged version of the Dressrosa arc. We're also gonna see some flashbacks with Sabo, Ace, and Luffy, which we already got in the anime. So there was disappointingly little new information about Sabo in the OVA titled Episode of Sabo, so I was a little disappointed about that, and I'm really hoping we don't get something with this. I'm really hoping it's not like, alright, here we go, One Piece Film Red, and it's like the Straw Hats trying to, like, the whole movie is just the Straw Hats trying to find Shanks. It's like, we have to find Red Hair Shanks, something's gonna happen to him, we need to find him, and Luffy's like, okay, and then, like, let's say it's an hour and a half long, it's 90 minutes like most movies are. It's like 65 minutes of this movie are just the Straw Hats fighting some random enemies and getting to Shanks, and then in the last like 20 minutes we get to see Shanks fight alongside the Straw Hats. The other red-haired crew are there, and then after that it's the end of the movie. Like, I really hope we don't get something like that, because then it'd be like, all right, it's One Piece movie red, but most of the movie is not really focusing on Shanks, so that sucks, right? Oh, man, I hope they don't do something stupid like, Shanks and the red-haired pirates have been captured by this really strong pirate, and it's up to the Straw Hats to save him. I really hope... You know what? What was the Hunter x Hunter movie? The Hunter x Hunter movie. There was Phantom Rouge, Last Mission. That was it. You see where I'm going with that. In Hunter x Hunter Last Mission, they introduced this really powerful character, and he literally just traps Netero inside of this barrier or whatever, so he limits his nen, he can't use it. And I'm sitting there, I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. So it's like the strongest character like ever, or like one of the strongest characters in Hunter x Hunter. It's just like, yeah, this random movie-only villain shows up and like locks his nen and traps him in a barrier so he can't do anything. And it's like, okay, that's kind of bullshit, but whatever. And at the end of that movie, Netero breaks out and he, 100 type guanine bodhisattva, like crushes the enemy anyway, but it's just like, it's kind of bullshit that that some random person was able to do that, but alright. I really hope they don't do that. I hope, oh man, you could see how they could. I don't think they would, because, Oda's the supervisor here. He's not going to make Shanks look like a total wimp. Alright, but like, I'm just saying, because I've seen some other movies before that follow like a similar logic here. It's like, we're going to take a really, really strong character and put them on lockdown for 90% of the movie, so the main characters have, their spotlight, and then at the very end, the super strong character comes back and helps them fight, and it's awesome, right? Can't have a whole movie focused on the strong character. That wouldn't be interesting. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Alright, okay. Oh, I forgot to mention the director. Yeah, we do know the director for it. It's Goro Taniguchi, okay? And Goro Taniguchi actually is not the first One Piece property he's directed. He's been around for a while. He was born in 66, so he's about 55 years old. Yeah, wait, 66. He's 4 years younger than my mom. He's 55. He is 55 years old, yeah. So Goro actually worked on the first ever One Piece animation project, period. That's right. What was the first ever One Piece animation project? Like the first time Luffy and Zoro and Nami, these characters were animated? That was One Piece Face the Pirate Gonzak. He was like a crab dude, and if you haven't seen this, it's okay. It was the first OVA that was released before the Toei anime even came out, right? So this was the first thing, right? And so he directed that. I have not seen it, and also it came out over 25 years ago, so even if it was shit, I don't think that's really a testament to his directing capabilities. It was literally a quarter of a century ago, okay? Goro, he's done some pretty good job from what I've understood looking at his resume here. He was basically the guy directing all of Code Geass. Alright, he's the Code Geass guy, alright, Lelouch of the Rebellion. So if you've ever seen Code Geass, it's been a very long time since I've watched it. Actually, you know what? I just finished rewatching Death Note. I should rewatch Code Geass right after it, because it's been a long time, and Code Geass and Death Note, Light and Lelouch, they have a lot of similarities, so I actually should just jump from Death Note to, Code Geass or whatever. But yeah, he did a bunch of stuff related to Code Geass, so if you're a Code Geass fan, you know about Goro Taniguchi, and Code Geass was amazing, of course. So yeah, I think he'll do a great job there. But yeah, so I would say best case scenario for me, a whole movie focused on Shanks, his past, just delving into everything, because maybe Oda can't just fit it into the manga, so he's like, you know what, here's a movie, here's how Shanks recruited all the red hair pirates, here's how Shanks got his scar, here's how Shanks got Griffin, here's how Shanks met Mihawk, here's Shanks and Mihawk's duel. Like, if you gave us that, no one would complain. No one would complain. That would be absolutely amazing. I guess middle of the ground would be the Straw Hats' main focus of the movie, but the red hair pirates are also palling around with them for one adventure or something. Like, they run into each other, they have to have some adventure together, and then the climax is the red hair crew and the Straw Hats all fighting together, Usopp next to Yasopp, Luffy and Shanks, fighting together. That would be really cool to see. And I guess bottom of the barrel, worst possibility would be, Shanks and the red hair pirates are, the damsels in distress, so to speak, or like the Straw Hats are racing to find them, to tell them something, or to give them something, or something of that nature. And we might cut back and forth to them throughout the movie, but they're not in the vast majority of it. It's mainly the Straw Hats that are in it. I guess that would be the worst case scenario. And One Piece Film Red is just like, it's more about Luffy remembering Shanks and the flashback to Fuchsia and Shanks giving him his hat and Luffy talking to the Straw Hats about how important Shanks is to him, and maybe Robin giving some exposition on how important Shanks is to the story. Like, that would be alright, but it's like, we've seen the flashback with Shanks and the hat and Luffy, like, a dozen times through the anime, the manga, the movies, the OVAs, all this extra supplemental stuff. We've seen that scene so many times. It's really iconic. I love it. But give us something new. New information about Shanks' past that was never before mentioned, that is canon. That is something relevant, okay? I hope it's not something also like, yeah, Shanks at age 25 ran into this beautiful woman and they had like a relationship together, and then she died and she will never be mentioned again. I don't do shit like that. Actually show us some really cool scene from his past that's gonna tie back into the manga in some way. That is what I think people want to see in One Piece Film Red, okay? Alright, well, with that all being said, let's just move into dinosaur facts. Hey, get that green! No, there we go, red. It's all about the red this time, alright? So, because we're doing dinosaur facts today, dun 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 dun, and it's the red video, I thought, alright, well, let's do a red dinosaur. So, I'm an idiot, and I'm Googling, like, red dinosaurs, and I'm getting a bunch of toys that are red, you know, like this or whatever, and I'm just like, come on, where are all the red dinosaurs? And then I realized, I'm like, wait a second, I don't think there's any way for us to scientifically know what color the dinosaur's skin was, because, you know, they're kind of all dead now, you know, and it's like fossils, there's no surviving skin or tissue samples of dinosaur flesh. It's all bones and stuff, and that's all we have to go off of there. So we know from certain fossil records that, you know, that dinosaurs had scales, or certain dinosaurs had scales and like the texture of their skin, but we have no idea of knowing the color of their skin. So with that being said, I just found this dinosaur from Jurassic Park that looks, you know, like the face kind of looks like a reddish color. I'm like, all right. This is the Ceratosaurus, or the horn lizard. Lived during the late Jurassic period, kind of around the same time as the Allosaur that Drake can turn into, okay? So they're kind of related there. You could also see some similarities between the Tyrannosaurus Rex, although the T-Rex lived primarily in the Cretaceous period, so keep that in mind there. So the Ceratosaurus, not very many fossil records exist. However, the one fossil that we do have, it was discovered in Colorado, was a pretty damn complete record of what they actually looked like. So we have this, which is really cool, but there's really not a lot of other records of it, but the one that we did get was pretty much damn near complete. Okay, so that was very lucky there. They stood about 17 feet to 18.7 feet tall. They had horns above their eyes, and they also had the arms that were kind of tiny, very reminiscent of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or I guess predating the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They had 4 fingers, and, you know, just like how the T-Rex did use the arms. I mean, you look at the arms of a T-Rex, and, like, they're kind of goofy and silly. It's like, how were they able to use it? They could use them. They would use them to, like, hold their prey as they're eating them. Kind of the same basic deal with the Ceratosaurus and the Allosaurus as well. They had like smaller legs, I mean smaller front legs, but they could still use them for stuff. But yeah, when it comes to exactly whether or not their scales were actually colored red, we don't know. That's just a Jurassic Park thing. The closest thing that people kind of know is like, hey, we have large animals like rhinoceroses and elephants in our world now, and they tend to have more like, you know, gray colored skin. So it's feasible that dinosaurs would have also had like a similar palette, but we just don't know for certain, okay? So somebody develops a time machine, you can go back, maybe dinosaurs were multicolored. You go back and it's just like a rainbow of dinosaurs. T-Rexes were purple, Triceratops were blue, Raptors were a bright neon green. Like, who knows? It might have been. Anyway, thanks you guys for watching the video. What do you guys think about One Piece Film Red, and what do you think is going to come about it, you know, involving Shanks? I mean, it has to be something involving Shanks, right? So let me know down in the comments below. What do you expect? And look forward to it. It's coming out in August of next year, so that'll be about 9 months or so, I guess, if I'm doing my math right. Yeah, a little bit over 9 months. So I guess we'll just have to wait around until we get a trailer. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking, signing out.